Hello, so Signashman back, and this time we have Kain. Now, this character was my character in the first beta, so I do have a lot of reps on this character. I haven't played him much since the release of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, but I do want to drop my knowledge today because I know quite a bit about Kain. Now, this character is going to be a zoner slash set play character, meaning you are going to spend most of your time running and zoning, and when your opponent makes a mistake, that is when you are going to capitalize on the set play, the knockdown. You're going to set an orb, go for the strike throw, and open your opponent up. Now, he can play offensive as well. Like, he's not just a zoner. He can definitely go in and play offensive. So he has an in-between play style, which we call the passive play style. So you can basically choose to play lame, or you could play a rush down Kain. Now, to talk about his normals, first and foremost, he's going to have a stand jab that it looks like it has a lot of reach, but it really doesn't, and it's a high jab, so it just misses against a Gato that's just crouching, as you see. Now, his par B has a lot of reach, which is really good for confirms like a crouch B, crouch A, stand B. Now, this character does come with a couple of short confirms off of his crouch B. You could do like a crouch B, crouch A, stand B confirm. Something as small as that to get a small BNB going, and it's like the same outcome on block, so you can just keep your distance with a fireball if you need to, especially if they blocked it. Now, he has a far C, which it looks as if it steps him forward, but he's actually in place. But it does reach pretty far, especially if a person is whiffing right in front of you. So I'm going to make Gato whiff. And that is generally how a sequence is going to look like him, especially if you get that wild punish on the stand C, and then you will go into Oki and set play. And then he has a far D, which his far D has a lot of range, so it's very easy to hit somebody in the same sequence that I just showed, like a wild punish. Somebody misses, or you're just like trying to check somebody from dashing. This is definitely going to be one of your go-to buttons, because you can easily do something like that. And even if you did see the wild punish, you could do something like that and go for a full combo route as well. Now, we talk about his crouching normals. He has a crouch A, of course, crouch B that I already showed in some confirms that you're going to be going for. He has a crouching C that steps him forward, that he can go for like a super, because it's not special cancelable, but it is super cancelable. So you'll see that commonly, like especially if somebody like dashes in, they'll get hit by this, and you could just go for a super. And then his sweep is actually good, but y'all know how I feel about sweeps. Not as good as KOF, because like I said, these sweeps in this game are primarily for like whiff punishing, getting that wild punish, getting that double sweep Oki. Because you cannot special cancel these, and because you can't, it just makes them super unsafe on block, so you would have to use them at tip range. Now, if we talk about his close range game, his close range normals are pretty good. You got the stand A +1, stand B +3, which is really good because that can frame trap immediately into a close C. Close C is going to be your primary threat button, and the primary move that you're going to be doing a lot, especially when you feint it with down feint, because now he comes with two feints. He comes with a neutral feint that sways him back, and then he comes with a down feint. That's going to be the one you're going to be doing, the flash kick feint. Because when you do that, he's actually +2. So then there's a threat of him dashing back in and doing it again, or just hitting a crouching A if you were to mash a button. So that's really good. Then he has the close B, which also hits twice, but it's -3. So a lot of people let him get away with this, especially from matches that I see, and I still let him get away with it sometimes. We'll block this and let him mash, and it's just not his turn. So when he does that, he's -3. So we definitely need to be taking our turn back, because yeah, it's just not a real situation. Now, to talk about some of his like command moves, he has a crouching A into a crouching C, or a crouching B into a crouching C. That's going to be good in a sense, because especially the crouching B version, because it hits low. So if your opponent's walking back, you can just do a target combo, which if you have an orb set, it can, depending on the timing of that setup, you could potentially make the orb explode right when that hits, dash back in for a full combo route. So that target combo is actually pretty useful. He also has a dodge attack follow-up. As you see, if you press heavy punch after, like stand C, like he'll do a follow-up. So that could be useful, especially in juggles. Like if somebody jumps at you, you can get an actual combo. So that's a pretty good example of how he can actually anti-air you, convert it, and get some Oki going. And Kain also comes with a jumping target combo, JA to JB, and he'll do 2 hits. Especially that's really good if you go air to air with somebody, because if they try to JD the first hit, they'll have to know that the second hit is coming and try to JD that as well. So you can put in 2 hits to kind of like throw off their timing in the air if y'all both go air to air. All right, so let's talk about his special moves. So unique to him, when he does his fireball, he actually steps back, which is very good because it's kind of hard to approach it, because even if you jump it, he's moving backwards. So it's going to be actually hard to punish him because he's advancing while he is throwing a projectile. Now he also has a upwards variation if you do the C variation of his fireball, and it goes up. So like if you have a hard read on somebody jumping, this is an option to keep them at bay. Now if you throw too many of these, your opponent's just going to dash on the ground. That's why you have to definitely alternate between a straight fireball or a up fireball, just so you keep your opponent guessing and they can't just run in at you if you're just shooting all up fireballs. And then he has the EX version, which the cool thing about the EX is if your opponent jumps at you, especially if they don't JD and they accidentally get hit by that the air fireball, they're gonna get hard knocked down into Oki, which is pretty cool. So knowing when to throw this out when you have that read that your opponent will jump is very good, because like I said, if it hits, you get a hard knockdown, and depending on where it hits, you could just get a full conversion as well. So that was like a small example of kind of like what he can do and how he can just set up his Oki just from a small knockdown like that. You can even super to get more damage if you need that. So next he's going to have this elbow charge, which you're not really going to be throwing this out too much on block, because if you throw it out on block, as you saw, it's -14. And the heavier version is -16. Now the EX version is actually good because it's really fast, and even though it does say -17, you can actually cancel it into other special moves to make it a plus situation in your favor. So those are generally going to be for like combo fillers, and I will show B&B for you and we'll go from there. And that's basically like a sample of how your Oki is going to look and how like the combo routing is going to look for him. The elbow is very critical in your combo routes, and I will show you why it's like super good on block because of what you can go into. Not only can you just cancel fireballs, which right there, that's +2, not bad, but it's something even better that he can cancel into. So he can do his EX flash kick +2. If you let both hits rock, but if you break it, he's +3 and right near you. So a pretty dangerous situation for like a strike throw. So it's very good to sometimes do the elbow on block just to set up the EX flash kick on block and force a strike throw. Now, while we're on the topic of flash kick, he does have a reversal. And yes, I call it flash kick because it just reminds me of Guile. Just because, hey, it's a down up, it's a reversal. Hey, we just call it flash kick here. Now, he does have a 6 frame. So he does throw a fireball at the end of it, but it's still like highly unsafe. Even if you get hit by the fireball, you can still punish him. It gets super bad. But the D version is actually going to be breakable. So you can use this as an anti-air. 8-frame anti-air, and if your opponent jumps at you, you can easily just go into an anti-air combo. So that's going to be the primary way he is going to be anti-airing you. And just like I showed before, the EX version is actually plus. So you break it, you're +3. And right there, you're +2. So it's going to be an easy way to set up his pressure. And it's very good in juggles because the end of it grants a hard knockdown for some Oki. And I will show that as well. As you see, it will give you that hard knockdown. You can set up an orb, and then you can get some devastating Oki. And last but not least, we're going to talk about orb set. Now, if you're familiar with Alco from Melty Blood or Ash from KOF, you already know how orb set works. You put it on their wake up, and your opponent generally will either block or panic out. It's only like 2 options. If they block, you are extending your pressure, potentially going for a high-low. Or if they sit there and mash, you will go for a strike and you will delete their life bar. He can also just throw you before it explodes, so there's plenty of options with that. Now, Kain is also able to snap, make the orb explode a lot sooner, so that can definitely throw off your opponent's timing, especially if they're used to the actual timing of it blowing up on its own. So that could be very good to snap it in certain situations. Now, like I said before, his Oki is his most devastating threat, so you're going to want to knock down, find all these setups off of the knockdown, set up the orb, how you can strike throw your opponent, or open them up with like a high-low off the universal overhead. And that was a cool sequence of set play. Now, I know most are wondering, how am I getting that stand jab in that combo? Now, it's going to be called charge partitioning. Now, charge partitioning is a technique in most 2D fighting games where a charged character can do a standing attack and still get their charge input to come out. Now, the thing about this, you want to hold down or down back, and as you rotate all the way up back, you're going to press your standing normal around the back input. Once you press that standing normal around the back input, then you just rotate to up back and you will finish the charge motion. And the reason why this is so essential with him is because you actually cannot do his combos correctly if you do not know how to charge partition, because when he does the stand D into a stand C, when he links both of those, you can only link a stand jab. Crouch jab will not work anymore. See, as you see that whiff, that's why you see most people with Kain always go for a stand jab, because if you go for a stand jab right there, it will actually link, but if you go for a crouch jab, it will always miss. The crouching jab will hit if you just do a stand C into the combo. But for max damage purposes, when you do a stand D feint into a stand C feint, you always want to go for that stand jab combo. Now let's talk about Kain's supers, because uniquely he has 2 supers. This super is going to be a super you're going to be comboing into to dish out loads of damage, especially like in the corner. He can also do it mid-screen. So that's the easy way to go into that. And then he has the orb super, which is going to be super important, because this character is very similar to JP from Street Fighter in a sense where when you burn out or you overheat in this game, if he has orb super available, you probably are going to get your guard broken and comboed. So it's very important to not get burnt out or overheated in this game, because it could actually be a checkmate. Now, when he has his orb super, it's very important for you as the opponent to learn how to just defend this or jump and just defend, so you can like keep yourself out of the situation and you're not just taking unnecessary like chip and unnecessary rev gauge damage. But it is definitely something you must practice. This super with the orb, he can also combo into, and good thing is it does set up a hard knockdown for some Oki. So as you see, this character is very, very scary on wake up, and that's how you are going to force respect into your opponent. The strike throw is going to always be a 50-50 guess in your favor, so just keep that in mind. Please let me know in the comments which character y'all would love to see next. We are almost finished with all of our City of the Wolves guides, so if you want to see a specific character next, please let me know in the comments. If you are looking for the ultimate set play character and the ultimate strike throw character, Kain might be the main for you. Until next time, peeps, peace.